Hi, welcome back. This is edition session 12, and on here we're going to be looking at adding two-digit numbers with an exchange. So we're going to be exchanging ones into the tens column, and I'll explain more about that in a moment. For this session, you'll need either place value counters, base 10. You can use the place value grids, the key stage 2 or the key stage 1 grid. These can be found in the place value session in the description there. The base 10 and the place value counters can be found in the Introduction to Maths Masters session, and there's a link in the description. The activities today are in the description section, so go on the See More and you'll be able to find the activities and download that for you to have a practice at that today. Remember, lots and lots of practice. Each of these sessions, if you want to stop at any of the sessions and carry on practicing for a few days, a skill that you need to practice, then do that. Because as you'll see now, those number bonds that we used earlier on are so crucial to help us with mental maths and written maths calculations later on. So the next couple of sessions we'll be finishing off year 2 and we're moving into key stage 2. And so all this stuff, all these underlying concepts and this practice is really going to help you when you get into the key stage 2 learning, when you're working with bigger numbers and problem solving there. Okay, so we're going to add two-digit numbers with an exchange. Now I'm going to look at this number first. I'm going to have a look at a mental strategy, because it's always good to try something doing it mentally before we start using any sort of written method. If we can do it mentally, that's great. This is why the concrete and the pictorial are so useful, because they build those mental representations for us to fall back onto and think about later. So 27 add 15. What I would do to do this mentally, I would partition 15 into 3 parts. I'd have 10 and I'd split the 5 into 3 and 2. So I've got 10 because I can easily put 10 onto 20. 20 and 10 makes 30. And I'm left with my 5 to add on. So I'm going to regroup, because I've got the 7 and the 3 will make another 10. So that will make 40. So I'll have 7 and 3 equals 10. So we've got 30 and 10 is equal to 40. And then I will add the 2 on. 40 add 2 equals 42. Okay, right, we're going to use this one and I'm going to show you how to do this one using the base 10 and making an exchange. Okay, remember you can use place value counters if you want, but starting with the concrete, the base 10 is going to be really useful. So always write the place value heading, so you can use a place value grid or get in the habit of writing them out, because it will really help as you build on, as you get older, what our place value system looks like. Okay, so we've got 10s and 1s, and we're having 27 add 15. Okay, so we're going to make our 27 first. So I'm going to make it, partition it into 20 and 7. Okay, and then I'm going to add on 15, so I'm going to partition 15 into 10 and 5 ones. Now something that's going to help you at first to think about the exchange you need to make is to use one of the tens frames. Now I'll show you a couple of ways that are really useful to help you to remember this. So I've got a tens frame and I can place those 7 on that we had, and I'm adding 5 more ones on there. So I'm adding these 2 together. It's good to keep track of what calculation you're doing at the side. So I've got 7, and what I can do when I add the 7 and the 5 together first, I'm going to add the 1s together first. I've got 7 and I can add 3 onto that, and that is going to make, let's drop one down there, that's going to make a 10. So we've got a whole other 10 now, and we've got 2 left over. So that 10 can be exchanged into the tens column. And what we do with that 10 is we can move it down to here. So what I will do, I'm going to exchange that 10, all those ones that were on there, or you can just move this down there. I can't really do that at the moment because they're magneted onto the board, they'd all fall off. But you can move this down. I'll show you this way first. So that 10 comes down here. We've got our 10 place value, ones on there, all the way down. And we can do the calculation. We've moved that over there. So we're just looking at the ones we've got for now. So we have got 2 ones because it made 10 and 2, it made 12. So what we can do is write down, we've got 2 ones there, and here we have got 1, 2, 3 tens and this other 10, so we have got 42. So you can get children, or you can do this children, you can be moving, get your tens frame, put them in and move it into the tens column below where you're writing down your calculation, and remember to add that in at the end, okay? And then you can add your tens together. Another way of showing this is you can use your 7 that we had, and we're adding on 5. So we've got our 7 and add 5, and we can see if we put one of those below, and I've got to be careful not to add this in, we can see how we can add on our 5 to make 10. So we're regrouping again. We're regrouping to make that 10 again here, and we're making an exchange because we can't keep those 10 in tens columns. So we've got a whole 10 now. So we can move that over. So what we do there is just move that down here, and we've got our 10 down here. So then we can calculate, we've got 2 ones, and we've got 1, 2, 3, and we've got our 4th 10 here to make 42. Okay, so that is one way of doing it. The second way I'd really like to show you, and both of these ways are useful, so try interchanging or practice using one way, then check your calculation using the second way. So if you want to start off using base 10, then check your calculation using a number line. So if we have our 27 and we add 15, we can add on 10, takes us to 37, and then we can add on our 5. Takes us to 42. Another way of doing that is to add on your 10, but partition the 5 into 3 and 2. So we go from 37, because I know that 3 and 7 is going to take me up to the 40. So I'll add on 3, and that 2 will take me to 42. So what I did there was 27, add 15, I partitioned it again into 10, 3 and 2. So I added on 27, add 10, then add 3, and then added 2. So practice using both of those. Okay. we're going to have a practice at doing some of these now. Okay, we've got a game show and we've got 4 contestants in the game show. We've got Hannah. Hannah has scored 34. We've got Ishmael, and he has scored 28. And we've got Daniel, who's just 1 less, 1 behind Ishmael, and he's got 27. And we finally got Devinder, who has scored 49. So I have a think who's in the lead. Okay, so I want to find out what Ishmael and Hannah have scored all together in total. So what have they scored combined in total? So we're going to add 34 and 28 together. So what I want you to do is pause it and have a go using either number line or using the base 10, using 10s and 1s to work that out. Pause it, off you go. Okay, so hopefully, I hope you started with the number 34 because it's easy to start with the bigger number. So we've got 34, add 28. We want to know when we combine it, we add it, what does that make? So I'm going to make 34 and I'm going to make 28. Going to add those together to see what that will make. So I'm going to start with the 1s. So I've got 8 and 4. Now I know that's going to make more than 10. So again, you can use either the 10s frame to do that. Make up the numbers on the 10s frame. So we could do that by saying, okay, we've got 4, or we could start with 8. I'm going to put 2 more in. That's going to make a whole 10. So I can bring that now into the 10s column. So I'm going to replace it with a 10 that I'm just going to put down there beneath my 10s column, ready to add up when I have my 10. So I can get rid of those 1s now because they have become, I've exchanged them for a 10. Okay, and now I can see the 1s I've got left. I've got 2 1s left. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10s and 1 more 10 here. So I've got 6 10s. So altogether they score 62. Okay, we can check that on a number line. So we can start with the bigger number 34 and we can add on 10 and 10. To take us to 44, 54, and we can add on 8. Take us to 62. Okay. So we've added on our 28, it takes us to 62. Now what I could have done here is partitioned this 8, take this up to 60, because 4 and 6 will take us to the next multiple of 10. So it takes us to there. So we'll go to 60. By adding 6, That leaves me 2 more to add on. Add on 2 takes me to 62. So we can do it like that as well. Okay, right, your turn to have a go. This time, you can use a number line, you can use a tens and units, or use both. Do it with base 10, then, sorry, tens and ones rather than tens and units. I keep saying that sometimes. Do it with base 10, your tens and ones, then have a go on a number line. You can set the base 10 out, different ways of doing it, because it will help you to see it mentally as well as using concrete objects. So this time, I want to know the combined score of Daniel and Devinder. What have they scored in total? So add that together, think about what number you're going to start with, and do you need to make an exchange in your ones column? Off you go. Pause it and have a go at that one. Okay, so Daniel and Devinder. So Devinder has got 49 and Daniel has got 27. So let's start with the bigger number, okay? What we can do, we can break 49, partition it into 4 tens, 4 tens, and 9 ones, and then we can partition our 27 into 2 tens and 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so now we can add our numbers together. So keep a check of what we're doing here. And this is going to where I'm writing my calculation. So what I'm doing is I'm saying 40 and 9 add 20 and 7. So got my tens and got my ones. So we're going to add the ones together first. So I'm going to use this, you can use a tens frame to help you to build them up. See if you've got you can make a 10 to exchange it. I'm going to use this, and this isn't in my calculation, it's just a little template from it, so you could have one of these in a different colour if you liked. So I'm going to put these on, put my 9 on. Like that. And I've got 1 from there, and there we have got a 10 made already. So I'm going to bring this down here, and that is going to go into my tens column. So I'm exchanging 10 ones for a 10, because 10 ones is the same as 1 whole 10. Okay, now I can add my ones together. What have I got left? I've got 6 left of my ones. There are 6 ones there. Now I can add my tens together. I've got 4 tens and 2, so I've got 6. 1 more 10 is 7, so I've got 76. Okay, so the score for Daniel and Devinder is 76. So what we've done here, we've done 40 add 9, 20 add 7. So 9 and 7 is equal to 16, which is equal to 10 and 6. So what we do then is have 40 and 20 add 10 is equal to 70. 70 add 6 is equal to 76. Now some of you will be able to do this mentally without having to do the base 10, without having to set it out in that way. You could look at it that 49 is 1 more, 1 less than 50. So we can add 1 on to that to make 50. So we could, and then we take 1 off the 27. So what we could do is this. We could say 49, add 1 equals 50. And then we add 27, which would equal 77, because it's easy to add on 2 tens and 7, 50, 60, 77. And then because we've added 1 more on than we needed, we just take 1 off, equals 76. Or we balance it by saying 49, add 1 is equal to 50. and we add on 26 instead, take one off there because we've added an extra one onto there, which equals 76. Okay. You could do it on a number line, start at 49, add on 20, add on 20 to get to 69, and then add on 7 would take you to 76. You could also split that 7 to make it into 1 and 6 to make it easier to do the calculation. So 69 add 1 is equal to 70, then 70 add 6 is equal to 76. Okay, so what I want you to do now, your practice now to have a go yourself, is I want you to look again at the scores in our quiz. So I'll quickly draw Hannah and Ishmael back in. So Hannah got 34, Ishmael got 28. And I want you to think about whose combined score when you add them together would make 61. So pause it, have a go at that, using your addition, whether it's mental, whether it's using the base 10, whether it's using place value counters or the number line, have a go. Whose combined score adds to make 61? Off you go. Okay, so who did we find when we added them together would make 61? Okay, so what did you find out on there? So 49 and 27 is going to make more than that. So that means all the other numbers would as well. But you could have tried that by having a go using an addition. We found out before that 30 and 20 made 58, 62. So that is made too many there because we were trying to make 61. So that's one less than what we made with those two. Daniel is one less than that. So let us try 34 and 27. Okay, so I'm going to make a 10 first to exchange it because I can make 7, 8, 9, 10. That makes 10 there. So I'm going to put that here into my 10s. I'm going to exchange that. I've got 1, 1, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 10s. So it is Hannah and Daniel's score who combined together to make 61. Okay. One massive thing that is a common mistake when adding these together is this. So I'll repeat that calculation and then I want you to say what error I have made. So 34, I'm partitioning it into 3 10s, 4 1s. Then I've got 27, I've got 2 10s, 7 1s. Okay, I'm going to 1, 2, I've got 7, 8, 9, 10, so that I'm going to exchange those for a 10, because I've made a 10 there, and I've got 1 left over, because it made 11. So, I've got 1 10 here, and I've got my 1, because it made 11 altogether, the 7 and the 4. Now I can add my 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I've got 5 10s, which is 50, 51. What mistake have I made there? Pause it, talk about that. Okay, what have I done? I've forgotten to add on my 1 10 there. So make sure when you're so busy trying to add on all these numbers, and this is why practice of addition of number bonds, it frees up your working memory to do the problem solving. So when I had the 7, 8, 9, 10, that made 10 together there. Plus 1 is 11, I've got 11, 7 and 4 makes 11. 11 is made up of 10 and 1. So I've got a 10 and I've got 1. So now I can see 5 tens, 6 tens makes 61. Okay, right, in the description section there are, if you click on see more below the video, there are some activities you can do practicing using the base 10, number line, place value counters, adding two-digit numbers with an exchange. So remember that exchange that's happening when you replace, you exchange 10 ones for a 10. You could end up, even if you were adding lots of numbers, exchanging 2 tens, 20 tens, 20 ones for 2 tens. Okay, and you'll see that happening. So when we get to more challenging ones, you might find you've got, say, 21, and you would have 2 tens here. So that will be what you would write down is 2. If you're writing in digits, you've got 2 tens there to add on. So practice the activities in the description section. Share your learning, #Marvellous Maths Masters, #Maths Masters. Share any work with me. Don't forget to like the video and remember to subscribe and turn your notifications on so you know when the next session is coming. And I'll see you back for the next session, which will be edition 13, where we'll be looking at adding 3 numbers together. Okay, I'll see you then. Bye.